Hey, welcome to Screen Peek, and in today's video, we are going to be breaking down our thoughts on one of the newest games, Mistfall Hunter, developed by Bell Ring Games. Mistfall Hunter is one of these new extraction shooter, extraction dungeon crawler type games. Kind of came out of nowhere, hit the market, and is doing pretty decent popularity. So Nick and I have varying number of hours in the game, and we're going to break down all of our thoughts on the game, whether you should pick up this game, and what we feel like the future holds for Mistfall Hunter. So stick with us. All right, before we get into the video, some introductions are in order with my co-host here, and he's been playing a lot of this game, Mistfall Hunter, that we're about to talk about. I think he has over 30 hours, which is great for him. He's been streaming it, he's been having fun, he'll share his thoughts, but because of all the hours he's putting in, he's neglecting everything that he promised to do in our backlog video. I don't think he's touched any of the games he mentioned in that video, whereas I'm probably about to beat 007 First Light, probably in the next 48 hours or so. But this man has been playing nothing but Mistfall Hunter, and here he is to talk about it. It's my co-host, Nick. What's going on, man?
Listen, man, I was going to come up with like a witty remark to that, but you ain't wrong, man.
Nothing.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
Like I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to the viewers and the listeners. I have been neglecting the backlog challenge, but hey, at least we get content for this video.
Sure. Honestly, what's more important than content? Yeah. Well, I mean, all right, to be fair to you, you have played some other games. It's just more, it's not your backlog. You've played some
Front slop games,
some Tarkov.
some Tarkov.
What front slop have you been playing? Tell the audience.
Mecha Chameleon. Man, it all just blends together. It's like a blender of front sloppiness, and it just, I'm over it. All right,
The man has true brain rot.
Yep, I've contracted the brain rot. But yeah, no, I started playing Tarkov again today. Did one raid, and it was actually a lot of fun. Playing a little bit of Project Zomboid as well. Just kind of doing like a solo survivor run, and that's been fun. And actually, I think I've told you I played this game, but I don't know, maybe I didn't. But Crusader Kings 3 has a special place in my heart, and I just randomly really craved the Game of Thrones mod pack in Crusader Kings 3, and did a playthrough of that, tamed a dragon, died in a duel, and never got to use a dragon, so I was a little sad. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Okay, so it's not all been Mistfall Hunter, but
no,
you've played quite a bit. So
yeah. What about yourself?
Outside of Mistfall, I have a few hours in, about like 4 or 5 hours. I've been playing 007 First Light, and I'm about to finish. So it's been really good. I really do like that game. I really enjoy the story, and like, the action sequences like really make you feel awesome. So happy to be playing that and almost finishing that. Otherwise, still on my Marvel Rivals grind. The grind doesn't stop. As well as to your chagrin, because when I mentioned it, you gave me a face. Battlefield 6 in Season 4.
Before you go further into that, do you want to tell the audience what happened last night in Marvel Rivals?
I don't know if I want to talk about it anymore. Look, if anyone plays Marvel Rivals, there's a lot of ego in the community, myself included. But sometimes you just find some brain dead players, and there's this guy. We were basically playing a 3v6 in comp, and this guy was 0 in 10. And he starts blaming me, the MVP, who at the time was I think I was 15 and 5. But again, we were playing a 3v6 because we had 3 people completely negative with our 0 and 10.
And hold on. Before you keep going, when he says this guy, he does not mean me, guys. It's a it's a random person.
No,
yeah,
no. Like I'd be having harsher words if it was Nick. This is some guy. This is some guy I don't know out there in the ether. Like just some brain dead players out there. And like, look, I'm not the best Rivals player, but I have decent game sense. This guy is just like, I swear, I was watching him just run out there, just wasn't even shooting, wasn't even like he was just walking out and dying, and he's like pinging chat like, "Where's my healers?" Well, I'm like, dude, you're 0 and 10. There's no point in even healing you.
And
I crashed out last night.
He crashed out. I mean, I
was crashed out.
I got a text. I got like I got back to back text message last night about Marvel Rivals. I'm like, I was like getting ready for, but I'm like, oh, for sure this is Marvel Rivals crashed out in. Lo and behold, crashed out.
Sorry, but let's get into the reason why people click this video, not about Marvel Rivals and my woes, but Mistfall Hunter. And I think, and honestly, like, I had heard of this game, a few months ago. Obviously, I had watched it. It was part of like one of the Xbox showcases, and it was coming to Game Pass, and that was really the only reason I personally knew about it. But you, Nick, like being such a big Tarkov and like extraction shooter fan in general,
yep.
You knew more about this game more than me, and you reminded me that this was coming, and this is something worth checking out. So, and I'm more of a casual fan. By casual, I mean, prior to this game, I've really only played Arc Raiders, Marathon, some of that Call of Duty like DMZ mode.
One
like,
raid of Tarkov.
Which one?
One raid of Tarkov.
One raid of Tarkov that we don't talk about. We don't talk about. So I am very much, admittedly, a casual extraction shooter fan, but it's pretty good. So I was excited to try this game. But you, having followed this game for much longer than I, like, if you were to give like your 30-second pitch on the game and just like, from your expectations to your first 30 hours in, like, how would you quickly summarize the game and your initial thoughts on it to the audience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. So let me start with my initial expectations, right? When I heard about the game, I was cautiously excited. There was another game before Mistfall Hunter. It's now defunct, but it was called Dungeonborn. Those developers are actually off making another game now. It's essentially a sequel to it called Dungeonborn Betwixt. Regardless, Mistfall Hunter is a spiritual successor, I would say, to Dungeonborn. Combat is very similar. It's this dark fantasy setting, even down to like the crafting and the gear setting and the looting. It's very similar, right? It's class-based. And as someone who is, like you said, who is a big fan of extraction shooters and a big fan of Dungeonborn in general, I was like, okay, like, this looks good. I'm cautiously excited. So on release, I know it had like mixed ratings. I think till this day it still has mixed reviews, and I think a lot of it has to do with some of their I want to say like business practices, right? Like, it's very like mobile gotcha kind of that's kind of how it is right now with some of that stuff, and it's kind of annoying, but it doesn't have like too much of an impact in my opinion. It's not like, oh, if I miss out on playing Mistfall Hunter for 2 or 3 days, I'm not going to feel like I'm behind. I feel like I can jump in at any point. Like, I know, Marco, you've been kind of taking a break from Mistfall, but if you jumped in next week, we can still have a good time, because it's not like you missed out on a bunch of things, right? So it's fine. The combat is very smooth. I do enjoy the combat. I know you had higher expectations for the combat, and feel free to talk about that. I think you mentioned like you were more so looking for like a action RPG, like God of War kind of combat, right?
Yeah, like a Devil May Cry, sort of maybe not as fast as like a Devil May Cry, but a little bit more, third person action.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, to me, like, it plays. I don't know if this is a fair or unfair comparison, but like, it has the weightiness and the pace of like an Elden Ring, Dark Souls, which is not typically my genre.
Yeah, I would say like a simplified version of Dark Souls or Elden Ring combat, right? It's weighty, but it's slightly unforgiving. Like if you, I play the Wither Knight, right? If I do like one extra slash and my opponent dodged out of it, he's going to punish me because I overextended, right? So in a way, playing this game, and I've been streaming it on Twitch as well. I've been chasing PvP. I've been really trying to be a little more analytical with my gameplay. Um, I I I realized that it's not just like a hack and slash. Like you can, yeah, sure, you can mindlessly just go in and hack and slash and hack to your victory, but there's actually some thought into the combat, like overextending with some of your abilities, being able to create that space and do your healing, creating space so that you can use your abilities, right? And that changes from playing solo to trios, right? So I do think the game has quite a bit of depth into it. So the gameplay itself, I enjoy it a lot. The gameplay loop, like going in, finding loot, fighting bosses. There are these elite bosses scattered around the world, as well as these Mist Lord bosses, which are like the big bosses. I think I've killed 2 of them so far. Not sure how many there are in the game, but they're pretty unique, pretty cool. Very similar to like a Dark Souls like boss. So it's cool. Obviously the classes. There's a variety of classes. Again, I main the Wither Knight. I think you play the Mercenary, right? Is that?
I tried the Wither at first, and then when I had to restart because I was weirdly region locked because of Game Pass.
Oh, right. Yeah,
I switched to what is it called, Barbarian or Mercenary, whatever the first one is, like the other melee guy.
Yeah,
who's not the Wither Knight.
Gotcha. Yeah, and obviously, both the classes that we chose were a little more basic, but I mean, I started picking up the Seer, which was like, I thought it was just a healer, but there's like 2 branching kind of paths you can take depending on your devotion, and one's like more support, support type character. The other one's more of like an aggressive PvP character, and that's the one I chose. And it's just like multiple ways of playing a character and building a character. Obviously, in a game like this, there are going to be metas that are developed. For example, early on in the game, a lot of people said Wither Knight was broken because the Wither Knight is someone who can really stick to you, right? He has a grapple hook that pulls you. He has a dash to dash towards somebody, and he can really stick to your opponent. Nowadays, I think people will say like a Seer, a Blasphemer Seer is very broken, which is like the PvP Seer, just because like you're doing a lot of damage, you're mitigating heals, you have like crowd control, things like that. But in my opinion, in a game like this, they're really sure there's a meta, but you don't have to follow the meta to be successful, and you don't have to follow the meta to have fun. So I do appreciate them kind of having that variety in the game.
I guess my question for you, and like I mentioned, I'm very much a casual in both the extraction space and this Souls-like type space. I play them here and there, try them. Not my typical genre. Like, who would you mostly recommend this game to? Is it a hardcore extraction person? Do you feel like it reaches the bar that you expect for a hardcore extraction game? Would you say, like, if you're an Elden Ring fan and you want a little bit more PvP, like, it's for those Souls-like fans? Like, would you recommend this to a more casual person? Like, they've only played Arc Raiders. Would you say, hey, you should definitely try picking up Mistfall? Like, where do you think, like, in the game design and the gameplay loop, they're catering most to?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and undoubtedly, I think a lot of the listeners here, are probably more casual, and I do think this fits that mold of a casual extraction shooter. I think it's casual in the sense that it's very much you can just jump right in and jump right out. Even if you die multiple times, you can just jump back in with your gear. They give you free gear as well. The way that the matchmaking works, that there's a gear score, right? Like the colors of the gear, it's like gray, green, blue, purple, gold, whatever. It keeps you within that bracket, so you're never like against someone that's too severely overgeared or whatever, right? Also, like another similar game that people will mention to you is Dark and Darker. Dark and Darker, I would say, if we're comparing like a hardcore experience to like a casual experience for a hack and slash, dark fantasy extraction shooter game, I would say those are two comparable ones, for like Mistfall being more so leaning towards the casual side, and Dark and Darker leaning more towards the more hardcore player base. Now that's not to say like Mistfall Hunter may be a little more casual, but there's still a lot of like skill expression in the game, right? I don't want you to think, and I don't want the listeners to think, that just because a game is casual means you can just button mash your way to like the top of the leaderboards. No, there are definitely like tools and equipment at your disposal that you can utilize to be a little more tricky. You can use it to be a little more creative and be more expressive in how you play. You and I, we talked back on release day. You had mentioned like, are there any tools like Arc Raiders where Arc Raiders had what, like fake flares to deploy? They had
different mines, traps.
Mines, yep, exactly. And at first I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I didn't encounter any. But then the next day I told you like, hey, I think I told you a funny story where I had just fought a team, went to go loot, and out of the corner of my eye, I see like this little vase just like inching from left to right. Sure. And I'm like, what's happening? Like I looked up and it stopped moving. I walk up to it and I hit it and it turns into a person. So there's an item in the game that lets you turn into like an item in the environment for like like a period of time, like 30 seconds, whatever. And that guy had done it because he was afraid, of getting killed. So it was it had like great comedic timing, but there are things like that to really let you be more expressive when you are playing the game.
Yeah. I think from my more casual perspective, like we played pretty much on, I think it was like day 2, we played together. And I played a little bit after that, but I would say like as a casual and as someone who admittedly is not very good at Souls-like type games, I did feel like I was able to jump in pretty easily when you and I played together. Like I got, maybe a couple kills off.
Oh, like, yeah. No, you definitely got
players.
Kills. Yeah.
Like it wasn't like the barrier to entry was not as high as I was expecting. And, I think it's one of those games, like you definitely have to invest time into it and it opens up with the skill tree. I think, as I was playing, you slowly gain new abilities. When you first jump in, you have a pretty basic,
yeah, you start as level
like,
1, the max level is 12, so between 1 and 12 you get more skill points.
Yeah, so like my immediate reaction was like, oh, is this really the entirety of like the combos? But then as I was watching you on Twitch, like, I you're already pulling off different moves that I hadn't seen in my initial, level 5 of like Wither Knight. I think I forget what level you are now, but yeah, I think it's like definitely things like it's a lot. One of the strengths of the game is, I think, trying out the different classes, trying out the different skill trees, and like not every Wither Knight is going to play exactly the same depending on what weapon they're using, what skills, and so forth. So it definitely opens up. Was there anything in the game like that you think could be worked on or like needs to be improved, or where do you see this game going? Because I think when it first dropped, I was looking at the Twitch numbers. There was like 45,000 people playing the game. I didn't look up current Steam numbers, but on Twitch right now, I think it's like 17,000. So, which is pretty good. I mean, like, it's one of the higher ones on Twitch right now. So, I mean, I don't think it has that virality that Arc Raiders had when it first dropped.
Yeah, Arc Raiders was so much bigger. Yeah.
Right. And it's right now, it's probably sitting more like a marathon, like where pretty solid numbers, but in relative, and everybody in within a genres can make those types of comparisons. Like it has probably like a player base of a marathon. Like, what would you say the game needs to improve on and like grow over time that can like really elevate this game's position
Yeah,
among fans?
so let me address the player base topic real quick. So they actually crossed a a threshold of like 1 million unique accounts, right? And only excuse me, sorry, I'm still getting over whatever I had, but on Steam they peaked at 44,000 players, and on any given day typically they hover around like 34,000 players on Steam. So that's Steam, and they had 1 million players. So a majority of the player base are actually console players.
Oh, and it's probably like very likely Game Pass too. I mean that's why that's how I picked it up.
Yep.
I didn't expect it to be a big Game Pass game though. Like I didn't.
Yeah. So yeah, Game Pass was a huge factor. I think that was a big boost in their numbers. I was watching another stream the other day, and obviously these numbers aren't public, but this was like a streamer that plays a lot of Mistfall and has kind of he talks to developers and whatnot. It sounds like on any given day, like in the console world, there's like 250,000 concurrent players. So let's just say 300,000 players overall. That is pretty good for a game that's like Mistfall Hunter, in my opinion.
Especially for like, I feel like a Souls-like game. Like I feel like I don't know, like an Elden Ring type game. I would have expected like more PC players to be into it, but
yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with, and this is where, to answer your question, what I would improve is like some of the mechanics, like the meta mechanics in the game are just like a big turnoff for players. Like they have this tree in the game where it's like, oh, you have to put in these like dream catchers, and you have to log on like every day to pick it up, pick up the Gildan Blood. If you don't, it just stays there and rots, right? Whatever. That like mechanics like that are very turn offish, and then also just the fact that like there are pouches for keys and pouches like to take things out of the raid if you die, and like you get it anyways. Those pouches expire. So let's say you buy them with in-game currency. It's actually nice that you can buy with in-game currency. There are other games out there like I think ABI, which is like a Tarkov clone. You have to buy that with real money, and it runs out, right? So it's timed. Mistfall Hunter does the same thing where you buy a pouch for 14 days, but let's say I go on vacation. Let's say I use it for 2 days, go on vacation for 10 days. I come back, I only have 2 days left, and that kind of sucks, right? Because it's a lot of in-game currency. And then they just had like weird. I think this is. I thought it was kind of cool at first, but it's also a little strange. Is like I can kind of see where the future of gaming is going. They're doing partnerships with like real world companies to do like giveaways, and like one of them, aside from like the in-game like the ciphers and stuff where you can like have a chance of like unlocking a PC or whatever, they did like a I think they had a partnership with some sort of like lag-free like server company, and they're like, oh, like if you go on this website and sign up, we'll give you like items in the game. And it's like, yeah, like I don't really care for something like that. It's cool that it's there, but it really is just like a weird like marketing strategy. I think that's something they have to work on.
I can see like the pros and cons of it. I mean, I do somewhat miss the days like early 2000s when we had a lot more cross promo. Like some of the cross promo stuff and the early 2000s was super cool. Like I don't know, I still remember like Halo 3 release. Like Halo 3 was everywhere. Like I'm a Mountain Dew, I'm a Pizza Hut, and I'm just having a real good night. So I kind of like some of that stuff, and I feel like a game like this where like obviously it's a multiplayer game at the end. Like obviously you could play it solo, but you're playing it for the multiplayer, you're playing it for the PvP. You need to build a community, so the more chances, the more marketing this game has. I just think the longer legs it has. But yeah, there does become a fine line of like, when is it too much versus, what naturally fits versus.
Like don't shove it in my face like as soon as I
Right.
log in, right? So
I feel like the problems I had with the game, it's a fun game. I I really appreciate the aesthetic. I'm not into the story at all, but I don't think anyone's really playing this game for the
no,
story.
yeah,
But I
it's
like
like a rip
the art
off like
direct.
Elden Ring.
Yeah, like, and who the hell actually knows what's happening in Elden Ring? I know somebody in the comments is like, actually, it's very deep lore.
Careful
like,
now.
I know. I have to be careful. I know, but for the casual fan that I am, it's just like the story is all over the place. But aesthetically, like, and the monster design, the character design is all like top notch in this game. I feel like obviously with any roadmap, you know, you expect things like more maps, more weapons, more character classes, etc. And I'm sure
Yeah.
that'll come with time. I feel like one of the fundamental issues I had with the game, I don't know if you felt the same way, and maybe it's just because I only have a few hours, but every time I was dropping into the map, it was like the same enemies in the exact same locations where you can like basically just plan a route where it's, if I know I'm going this way, I know I'm going to fight this exact dude in this exact spot.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what Arc Raiders did really well, actually, was randomize the enemy encounters. Like, you didn't know what Arc was going to be around the corner, or, they really had really good, like, the Arc moved around the map very well. Like, you didn't know where they were going. In this game, you have people just like, I know there's going to be a guy sleeping there or like propped up against this gate. So some of that randomness isn't there to keep it as engaging as it could be.
Yeah. You're right. I think you're half right there, actually. Maybe they added this like after you stop playing, and they do randomize the map a little bit, right? In a sense where like the epic boss that's like the red symbol on the map, it might be in this one house for one game, but the next game he could be in another house that's like across the map. And now in that previous house, it's like a regular monster, right? But so there is
like,
some
what
of that.
about like the peons though, like the random?
Some of them change. Some of them change. Yeah, like where there was a scarecrow once was it was like a brute with the giant axe for me, things like that. But you're right, they don't roam the map, right? And I think in a game like this, they do it on purpose because like Dark and Darker, it's what they call like tiles, or like the little subsection of the map that you're in. Every tile you go is a room of different monsters. It's just here in Mistfall Hunter, and I applaud them for this, is that they have built the map where it doesn't feel like you're in tiles, but actually you are. You actually are in tiles because you have to open doors to move to the next section, right? So those are all actually technically broken up into tiles. It just doesn't feel like it because, and honestly, kudos to the map creator, the map designers. Like, I think they designed the map well enough where it like kind of just blends that line, so you're not like, oh yeah, I'm just in one little square, one little box, and that, that's that. But I do agree with you. I mean, that's where a game like Tarkov is so like amazing, because it's part of that immersion, right? I talked to you about this when I was creating my Twitch channel. Is like, immersion's a big part of gaming for me. And a game like Tarkov, where a scav or a boss might spawn in a different position, or they roam the map, they chase players down, they do all these things, and it feels like the map and the world is so lively and dynamic. I do wish that Mistfall Hunter has a little more of that, but I don't know. Maybe that's in the future, maybe not. I think regardless, it's still a good game. As far as like the roadmap, I don't know if you saw, but they're introducing a new weapon set, which is a javelin. But I think you're right. Like, we need to see more in the roadmap. Look at Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders pretty much died off because they could not They could they could not put out a
that
good
that
roadmap.
company is known for just abandoning projects, and they already announced they have like 2 games in the works next. And it's like,
Well,
I feel like it's what's his name? The guy, he used to be a Battlefield guy, and I see his face, but that guy is like notorious for just, I don't know. I don't trust that that dude. They're just throwing money at next project, and like, but I think that's a uniquely that company and our creators and the finals problem. But
yeah.
I you know, I don't know how you would feel about this, just because, you know, you just mentioned immersion too, but you know, I think one of the reasons why Arc Raiders did get so popular is kind of just those random moments from either randomness from the Arc, also prox chat, being able to interact with players.
They need prox chat in this game for sure. I want to talk shit.
I know you want to, but hark ye knight, come hither and taste thy blade.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, I want to role play as a as a mage, or
role play as Dumbledore, you know?
Right, exactly. I was gonna go Gandalf. You're going Dumbledore. Come on.
I mean,
it's Hobbit MTG release week, and you're gonna go Dumbledore? Come on, man. It's Gandalf or Saruman all day.
Dude, I get it, man. You just want to brag about your $350 card you pulled the other day. It's fine.
If anyone plays Magic, I got that Mox Amber Dwarven lettering, $350 in pre-release prices.
Yep.
Feeling pretty good this week, but anyway.
Hey, you know who swayed Marco? Yours truly.
I had bought some Magic in the past. It's just I wasn't into all these like fantasy and whatever you call it, like the Marvel stuff, the IP spin-offs, and now I'm hooked. Now I got Magic and Pokemon my and these games to keep up with, like,
and a
my
new
wallet's
PC.
hurting. PC is coming later. let's take it day by day. And these board games, you know, I just got like my wife was like, I got one delivered from GameFound yesterday, and it was like one of the big boys. She's like, what is this box? I was like, but look how pretty the box is. I'll show her. Look at that. Look how nice that is. Is that $150 of board game? Yes, it is.
Oh my god. Jeez.
Anyhow. All right. Well, what are your, final thoughts on Mistfall Hunter? What we like to say on Screen Peek. Is it a cop? Is it a drop? Is it something to wait for a sale on? I mean, granted, if you have it on Game Pass, it's basically free. So, I mean, that's how I got in. I forget what the retail price on this is. Is it $29.99 or is it
right
$40?
now? It's $25, but right now it's 10% off. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, $25 is like, at that price, would you recommend most people cop it or wait or?
Yeah. So do you want me to give my rating?
Yeah.
First, yeah. As far as like extraction shooters, I think this game is casual enough for me where I can just jump in and jump out, and that's a big plus for me. When I play Tarkov, it's like, I think I told you, it's like 45-minute to an hour-long raid. It's super stressful. You're locked in the whole time. Like here, you see my stream. Like I'm just yapping and just finding PvP and just having fun. I think this is a good blend of, like I said earlier, of skill, expression, plus that casualness of like just jumping in, jumping out, and experimenting and things like that. I give this game a true 7.5 out of 10. It has its woes. I think one main thing that they need is it's just better servers. There were a couple times where I felt like there's just some sort of desync in the combat. One time I like lagged off a cliff as I'm PvPing another guy, and I know it's not my internet. So things like I see you chuckling over there, all right, Mr. Chuckles. It was not my internet,
mega
man.
Internet. It's mega internet.
But
it's $1,000 a month for it.
All right, relax, man.
Got enterprise speed for his 3-bedroom house.
Bro, I have 10 gigs download, 10 gig upload, man. It's
10
not, it's whatever,
gigs.
bro. Whatever, man. I used to work from home, but, so I give it a 7.5. I think, yes, there are obviously things that it needs to improve on. I think they need to add more to keep people coming. You know, like you said, like the player base is not huge. It's not like a Tarkov, or it's not like obviously like a Marvel Rivals kind of player base for like millions of players. Like this game, it has a humble player base, and if they don't continue to add things and balance things and add better servers, people are going to find the next best thing. Maybe that Dungeonborn sequel, Dungeonborn Betwixt, right? Like, who knows? But do I think this game can have a cult following like Dark and Darker? Absolutely. I think it's a lot of fun. The combat is fun. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Cop or drop? Honestly, I say cop. I'm not even going to talk about Game Pass because like Marco said, like if you have Game Pass, you might as well try it, download it, you know, whatever. If you're on PC, buy it on Steam, try it for 2 hours. If you don't like it, refund it, right? But I do think it's a cop. I think this is a game where if you enjoy any sort of hack and slash, if you enjoy any sort of extraction shooter, casual or hardcore, you will have fun with this. One of my viewers on Twitch, his name was Azar. It's so hard to pronounce his name. It's like Azarin. He told me that he's jumping from a game called New World, which is an MMO with kind of similar combat, not really, but he was jumping from that to Mistfall Hunter, and he was having a lot of fun. So like this is a guy that has an MMO background, not even an extraction shooter, and he's having fun playing this game. You don't have extraction shooter background, and you had some fun playing the game, right? So, yeah. With that all said, I think it is a cop for me. What about yourself?
I'll give my quick thoughts and caveating with, again, I'm not necessarily the target audience for this game. I do like the more casual extraction, and I have been dipping my toes into that realm and have been enjoying it. I'm not a Souls-like person. And again, my rating scale is probably different from most people. So the score I'm about to give to me is still a good score, but it's just, I'm again also not the target audience. I probably would have given it around a 6.5. With again that being a good score.
That's still above
average.
Anything
I mean, above a 5 is good. That's my score.
That's
5 should be average because that's how numbers work, and 10 is perfection. Like it's like a 6 or a 6.5, and I definitely see the appeal. Like I said, honestly, my favorite part of the game is the fact that it's PvP. You could drop in as trios. Like, I love PvP multiplayer, and the fact that it's like a high fantasy. Like, the art direction aesthetic is gorgeous. So I think that was my biggest appeal. I don't think the gameplay sunk its teeth into me to where I feel like I need to keep playing this game, or like I feel I come home from work. It's not the first thing I'm thinking of when I want to turn on my Xbox or my PC, right? And so I'd say from that perspective, I'd give it like a 6.5 or so. But I could see myself casually checking in on it from time to time. And my other bar for these types of games, multiplayer, is it a game I would want to play by myself, or do I need to play with friends? And that's how I judge my multiplayer games. Like Marvel Rivals, I can happily play by myself and still have fun, even though it's still I always play with friends. And I do casually play Rivals by myself. I don't think I would play this game by myself. And I think I would also say that of any extraction shooter. I would not play Arc Raiders by myself.
Yeah.
I've only ever played it with a full party. And so if I got to you, me, and someone else and dropping into trios, I would play this game all day. But I couldn't see myself jumping in solo, and I feel like for a multiplayer game to be above a 7, I need to want to play it by myself any time of day. So I would say it's a cop though. Even if it wasn't Game Pass, whatever, $25, there's a lot of game there, and I think it has some long legs, and you can have a lot of fun out of it. And $25 in this day and age for a video game, phenomenal price, especially if it's on sale. I think there's a lot of value there. Like I would say, I would recommend, especially if you like these Souls like games or extraction games or
Yeah.
Dark and Darker. Like I think it fits right into that repertoire and that you should put in your cycle. So. But yeah, let us know if Mistfall Hunter, have you guys checked it out? What have been your thoughts? What classes are you playing? How do you feel about the game? How do you feel like it compares to other extraction shooters or, other Souls-like type action combat games? We'd love to hear from you if this is a game you've been playing or if you've been on the fence. Did we convince you to perhaps check it out? Let us know in the comments. And then the last thing we'll say, we are finally over our 50 halfway mark of subscribers. So thank you all for doing that. We really appreciate all the support. At 100 subscribers, we'll be doing a giveaway. We'll randomize all the comments. So all you have to do to enter is leave a comment on any of our YouTube videos and or our Spotify. If you leave a comment on both, you'll be entered twice. We'll put your comments into a randomizer and we'll make a short out of it so you know who the winner is selected. So if you turn on notifications, you'll be sure to know when we select a winner, but we won't do the giveaway until we get 100 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you for sticking with us. Leave your comments down below and we'll see you in the next video.
See ya.